Hello everybody, and welcome into today's stream. We're going to be going in the Beechcraft Baron 5.8 with the Reality Expansion Pack. So that's the purpose today, the Reality Expansion Pack. If you have previously my short video before, or you haven't, then please check it out, because it's pretty much a rundown and review of the REP pack for the Beech Baron. We're going to be taking a custom livery, the Lima November Alpha Kilo Echo, which is actually, I think, either Norway or somewhere up there in the north of Europe. And as you can see, we're out here at the Lugano Airport in Switzerland. So you're probably thinking, what is the purpose today? Well, we're going to be doing some test flights on the Baron with the REP. We're going to see how it handles. I'm going to talk you through some of the sort of features and add-ons. As you can see, it comes with the tie downs, the chocks, and I'm warming the engine up because we are way too cold, although it's still VFR conditions, so I kind of want to make the most of it. So yeah, I just want to start off. We're going to start off with a lot of negatives, I think, in the REP pack. I'm going to say it straight away. I don't want to hide the truth, but the chocks don't work the majority of the time, so you're better off using X-Plane 12 chocks. These chocks will not hold in place a lot of the times if you've not got the parking brake on, so yeah, they are completely redundant and just purely there for show, it seems, and the tie downs and all the rest of it don't do anything to hold the aircraft in place. Learned that the hard way because I went downhill very fast. It is a beautiful livery though, custom livery, got it from the forums. I actually managed to find a few Baron liveries, and I don't know how, but I'd missed them previously. So let's talk through some of the things you get here with the Beech Baron. So we've got a knee board with normal operations checklist, emergency procedures, which I actually do really like. And then you got references, but I have mentioned in my previous review that the references are actually incorrect. They seem incorrect in the numbers, so you should be able to fly a plane by its numbers. And this aircraft can't be flown by its numbers, so you'll get recommendations for things like, you know, 8 gallons per hour through the engine. Not here at maximum cruise power, but, you know, on these sort of lists, I'll try and find it for you. Yeah, down here, so the fuel flow that it wants you to put through the engine at these sort of altitudes is incorrect. The higher up you go, you know, if you're going to reduce it to 9, you're not going to have enough fuel flow, and in fact, I've tried to, and the engines will simply stop. But it's there anyway if you want to use it, and there's a few other things. Economy cruise power, but yeah, the numbers are off on that. There's 2 less of fuel flow going through the engines. It's not been simulated well on the REP at all. Right, that's that, and then we have a mass and balance, which is again alright, but not great. We have contrasting values here, so we have gallons, and instead of being in a consistent kilos, it's in gallons, so it'll be in gallons there and then kilos here, so they mix it up. There's also no obvious way to change it, so that's another thing. Plus, it won't save. The persistent saving systems hasn't been working at all. It's been very difficult to get anything to save in this aircraft from one flight to another. We have a walk around, which is probably the biggest letdown, because it's just these sort of predefined spots, and the reality is that the model doesn't even simulate these things. It doesn't have them on the aircraft, so it doesn't have static ports, which makes the walk around completely redundant. You also can't click off of these like red click places, so the idea that it includes an interactive walk around, I think developers and people need to stop saying this on products, because it's, you know, it's a blatant lie. There's no walk around feature. I'm using a completely separate thing for the walk around. There's predefined camera spots. That's what it is. You get predefined camera spots. You cannot click on any of these things down here. So again, you know, it's not interactive. It's not a walk round at all. It's all you get is a pre-selected camera spot, and you have to press a button to remove it. You can't even click on it. Okay, so all the negatives first. We have a tow bar feature. I have tried this. The tow bar feature is good, but if you want to move the camera, you will have to assign a button specific to this sort of REP pack, which I find very odd. We are going to be using A to C today, by the way, just to let you know. And then we have the best part. This is something that I do like, and this is why I got the REP pack. It was very hard, by the way, to do so. The default one by Laminar Research was, and is still, one of my favourites. I think they did a fantastic job, but then when I got the REP, I was really hesitant because it wouldn't add that much to it, but then it came with this sort of wear and tear system and reality maintenance system. So this is the engines. I have had to do a few repairs. Some of the repairs have been needed to be done even though the aircraft's been left in good condition, so there's a few bugs in this as well. I did switch it from normal oil quantity fluid to a sort of lower viscosity, so as you can see there, low 30 or 10W30 or whatever that says. It's not very clear. That is the high viscosity, I believe. So I've changed it to high viscosity oil. We have the hours on there, and you can see that it's Teledyne Continental Motors 10 IO550C. I think those are custom engines with the REP pack. And of course the same on the right engine, and we can also upgrade other things as well, so you can change the spark plugs to fine. You can also change the injectors to attuned, but these are very, very expensive, and the reality is you'd have to fly hours to get this amount of money. You start with $10,000, but yeah, I'll talk about some of the financial thing in a sec. So yeah, we can upgrade it. I've heated in the engine, as you can see. We've got a winterization kit onto the ice. Everything else is there on systems, it seems. So we get down here and you can see all the money I spent on fuel and maintenance, and I've barely made anything back. In fact, on the last flight I was expected to make $437, which wouldn't have even made up for the fuel because it was $500. But then I had a good landing. I came down to land, and as I was slowing down, I thought I slowed down enough. But since it was in the dark, I obviously miscalculated, did a right-hand turn, and the aircraft tipped over and broke the propeller. So that cost $2,000. So that's a happy mistake, I think. So yeah, it just mostly losses, but some gains in there. You know, $500 there. We got a 74 feet per minute landing reward. The price and the rewards are very inconsistent, though. I got more money for I think it was 84. I got like $60 for. So yeah, very inconsistent there. Plus, it doesn't. When I try to change the oil levels from standard to low oil, or the higher viscosity oil for winter, I paid. I can't remember. I think it was like $300 per engine, and then it didn't save it, so it didn't do the maintenance. So I had to keep paying for it. And I think I paid for it 3 times, so I paid $900 to change the oil before it actually worked. So that was a real disappointment. Anyway, that's the maintenance. It is pretty handy. We can go ahead and disconnect. Well, let's leave the ground heater on and we'll disconnect it when we've got our briefing done. And then you got something called automatic engine start, which I wouldn't recommend using. You do get a sort of separate menu and a plugin. So here's the sort of reload script here, and the Simcoders, it comes as a plugin as opposed to like its own thing. And I guess the persistence doesn't work. We can toggle the static elements using the key like that. Cool, so the aircraft's in good condition. Again, there's not really any control services checks. We can do that ourselves, completely separate to the REP, which is how I've been doing it this whole time. Today we're going to sort out our weight and balance, and we are going to go through a fuel calculation. So if you're new here, we haven't usually previously done this, but the new year we got new goals here. We want to get everything done as realistically as possible. Or at least semi-realistically here, guys. Flight briefing. We know we're in a Beechcraft Baron today. We're in the LNAKE livery, which is fantastic. Flight plan indeed is filed. We have no actual flight plan downloaded. We're all VFR today. ATIS information is not available. Weather. So we're going to check the weather together. Let's do that. Here we go on the old firebox. Let's move out of that corner for you. Hopefully that's nice and clear. So I've got my flight plan here pre-filed. We're going to have to use some of this for our flight. So we're going to be going from Lugano. We're going to be doing a few circuits here to begin with. And this will warm up both our skills in the plane and give us a bit of practice. Then we're going to go on. I've decided to do a short hop over to Aosta. And we're going to be flying straight to the DMB, which is some good NDB navigation, excuse me. And then Aosta Airport. And then we're going to continue north. Since Bern is so close to us, I chose Bern, but realistically, we could always change that. And in total about 137 nautical miles. It is actually pretty far, to be fair to Burn. Maybe we should change that. That's 70 nautical miles. So it might be better on going to Sion. Let's go to Sion instead. There we go. About 96. Still quite far though. And then we can calculate the fuel. So let's go over here. So now you should be familiar with how I do this. Let's put this font a little bit bigger. So the trip fuel, excuse me, the total fuel equals the trip plus reserves. We're not going to need alternate, we're just going to take reserves. So what do we need here? Reserves. Actually, let's take alternate as well, and we'll just call it 15 minutes. Plus taxi / climb fuel, and that's how we calculate it. Go back here, we got 96 nautical miles. This is how I do it, and it actually does work very, very well, guys. If you want to try it out, part of the pre-flight briefing, and we need this to get the amount of fuel on board. So if we know we're going to 96 miles, I've already pre-planned for 12,000 feet or 154. So 156 knots is our speed. So you can divide that by 156 at 12,000 feet. That's when we're en route. Whether or not we're actually going to be at that altitude is another question, isn't it? Calculator, and then we calculate that division there. Having some issues with the mouse again, unfortunately. So divide that 5, 6. I really love this part. Actually, there's a good little feature to introduce. So it's given us 61 minutes to do the entire trip. That's why I've decided to do some circuits here before. Yes, that's it. We only need like an hour's worth of fuel, and I've already looked at the performance, and this is a good opportunity to use their knee board as well. So you go back up here onto performance, and I'll show you what we've got for 12,000 feet. We're going to go just on the 20 Richter peak. So 12,000 feet, 19 inches of manifold, about 12.7 gallons per hour at 156. So 12.7 gallons per hour. And it's really good we got those performance things to do this. Actually, then again, I just said before, didn't I, that the fuel flow is probably going to be well too low. If you pull it to a certain level, it will cut the fuel off. So I think that's probably incorrect as well. We're going to round that up, and we're going to put it up to 14 gallons per hour. So 61 minutes at 14 gallons per hour. That's 1 hour, and it'll take 1 hour to get there. So so we do the trip fuel, which is 14 gallons per hour for the hour. That's for the trip, plus the reserve. So we're VFR today, so minimum reserves are actually legally 30 minutes. I don't know if anybody's going to check it. I know a lot of people fly without 30 minutes of reserve fuel VFR. A lot of people tend to do it. So we just half the 14 gallons per hour and put 7 in there. And then we do alternate. So I said 15 minutes. Again, we just need to half that, so 7.3 gallons. Let's just put G in there rather than GPH. And then taxi climb. Now taxi climb is, I don't know why I put equals there. What am I doing? Plus taxi climb. We could do 3 minutes of taxi climb fuel. Or we could do something like 6 minutes to account for the climb up to the high altitude. So in that case we'll do seems a little bit incorrect. 8 point. I don't think I've struggled to work that out. Let's just put 3 gallons in, and that's the total trip fuel there. Love it when I'm working out offline because it always goes so well. 14 for the trip, 7 reserves, alternate 3.5, and then another 3 for the taxi. So we only need 27.5 gallons, and that'll be in both tanks. So 27.5 gallons for the entire trip. Nice. That's the fuel. That's the fuel plan for this sort of route here in Sky Vectors. This is a warning, by the way, for turbulence. It actually does give you the warnings, which is brilliant. Windy itself is giving us warmer here in Lugano, believe it or not, than it is in where we're going. So as you can see, it's -6 here over the Alps, but down here we're actually getting into the 2 or 3 degrees. The sim thing was filed. We're all good there. That's pretty much just sorted. I'll keep the online notepad. And let's refuel. So let's see how much it is. The plugin comes with a... there it is. Check fuel prices. So we can actually check how much this is going to cost us. LSZA. LSZA. So the price is $2.34 per litre. Again, there's different measurements. So litres there, and then it's just another case of people confusing each other. I mean, there's no need to have these conflicting measurements. If you're going to use litres on the pricing system, you need to put litres in here instead of gallons, because that would be the UK system. The UK uses litres. We know we need 27.5 on the gallons. Where's my calculator gone? So 13.75. I don't think we can actually do that, so we'll have to round it up to 14. Which means we're out of 14 onto what we've got. Which is... 50 gallons in each. I've sort of rounded up and rounded down as well. We've just got 2 pilots and a bit of baggage on top. I think that's good, and then fuel flow here can actually be adjusted, and it is about 60 minutes of flight time. 14 gallons per hour. Okay, right, let's hope we're not going to go bankrupt with the amount of fuel on buyer. Auto start. Okay, let's get the preheat off. We're 10 degrees now. So yeah, 109 litres of gas. $2.34 litre, $256. Please, if you are the reality expansion pack, it doesn't seem to be updated for a few years now. Get it onto consistent systems. If you're going to use litres on the mass and balance, gallons, you need to change it to, you know, pounds. If you're going to use kilos, you need to change it to litres, and so on and so forth. Right, we're ready to go. Let's go. I'm going to use the chat list for today's flight. We want to make sure we follow the REP and give you guys a good rundown. So, battery on, alternators. Let's get the cabin lights and the prop sync on. This is my chat list, by the way. So, seats. You know what? Let's follow it. So, seat belts, parking brake is set. All avionics are off. Cowl flaps are open. Fuel selector is coming on. And I've already boarded the chat list. I already know the chat list off by heart. I've got my own real world one at home. So clear left, clear right. Let's go ahead and check the ATC service. We have someone on centre in Germany. I don't think that's within range of us. Let's just check. Can't find it. Can't find it anywhere. Sounds great though, the battery. I have tried the default one, and you can tell the difference. They do to recommend changing some of the settings and control settings and volume. So they said put it up to, you know, this sort of volume for the REP pack. You can just do that on the default one and you'll hear the battery on it as well. As for the actual controls, they've recommended the control sensitivity is 75% on pitch, 50% on roll, and then 90 on yaw. Again, you can just do that with the default plane, and it seems like we bought a product which doesn't I know this sounds bad, but it doesn't add too much. It just seems to implement changes to what is already there. So yeah, not too much content available on it. I'd say $20 is probably overpriced, considering it doesn't function properly. But oh well. Looks like we're on our own here. We're going to have the whole area free. We're going to do a few circuits. So let's get going. So beacons on. We don't need navigation lights. Let's keep that on 7,000, so it does save the transponder code. Mixture's rich, props fully forward. Peak flow on the right hand side. Peak flow on the left. Clear right prop. Well, as you can see there, guys, the brakes on the default Baron work absolutely flawlessly, but on the REP, by the way, that's another issue. They don't work at all most of the time, and the chocks do absolutely nothing. Thank God we did a 360 spin there. That was pretty cool, wasn't it? And the doors open at the back. Yeah, strange. I know we had the throttle full forward by accident, but, you know, still. The brakes don't work most of the time. So clear prop left. Let's hope to hold this one. That's a tip at the top there, which just won't vanish no matter what I do. You are supposed to have the synchronizer on. Okay, we're going to let the engines warm up when we run up at a hold point. Use this for departure, so 1012 for QNH, plus we're departing from 01. I'm not too sure about circuits. I'm assuming we'll go right hand circuit and then round this body of water at 1,000 feet. Okay, we're already about 1,000 feet, so maybe about 2,000 feet for the circuit height. 012 on the QNH. Avionics coming on. We are going to tune that NEB available to us. Let's go over here. So we got a SVC, which is coming up as 416. Just about, see that? 418. Let's tune that in. So 4. And we won't be able to pick up on it until we're within the range of the airport. Taxi lights. And I'm going to do a right and turn here to 0. I think this is a taxiway. I'm assuming we're on one. I can't see anything on the map. This is classed as a grass parking. Right, so you do a left and turn, then back down there towards 01 and backtrack for takeoff. Cool, let's get going. We'll hold short and do our run up. One thing I did notice, and I would like to have had in the REP, was a headset, because I mean, it's the REP pack, isn't it? We need to have that added realism, which so far hasn't shown itself, but it is very good in terms of the maintenance. I think that's probably the only upside in the sort of persistent systems. But in terms of persistent switch positions and things, they don't even stick in the persistent system places. So you change it before you leave, you come back on and they're already in the on position even though you turn them off. It's I just wish people would take the time with these kind of products instead of just selling something immediately when they think they've got a good idea. Light controls are good. I think this is the taxiway ahead of us. Can't see where it is, it's not clearly marked. Yes, this is it. No. We're not even that heavily loaded, come on. It's alright in fuel though, we got plenty for this trip. We're going to have to break the law here and push our engines above 1200. There we go. Okay, we'll hold short here. I don't think there's a run-up area at the end of 01. And you should be able to hear the squeak of the brakes as well when you apply them. Right, Have we got over 24 degrees? No, we haven't, because it's absolutely freezing outside. We did preheat the CHT though, so that's good. That just means we need to warm up a little bit before we do the run-up, and we can talk through a little bit of the procedure and kind of assess the terrain. I think 1,000 feet should be good, and we'll make right hand for runway 01. Welcome in, by the way, and thank you, and to regular subscribers, regular viewers. I hope everybody's enjoying the content. I hope you're all... I know that the Baron isn't as popular, but I hope you're all enjoying it anyway. Okay, engine number 1 and 2 run up, 1500 RPM. We're going to do a quick prop cycle. Again, if we follow the chat list, it will... The chat list is incorrect. It will give you the run up in the wrong direction. I mentioned it on my review, but it wants you to go to 2200, then 17 and 15, but it's not in that order, guys. I'm really surprised, actually. The guy who made the RP is obviously not a pilot. Obviously not. He doesn't have a clue, because most of the numbers are completely wrong as well. I feel like the numbers for this aircraft are, and this is my honest opinion, I feel like these are probably from the pressurized version, because if you look at the altitudes, it says we're supposed to be getting 18 inches of manifold at 14,000 feet. I don't think we're going to be getting that at 14,000. We're going to be getting somewhere in the range of 16, I think, 15 or 16. We're not going to be getting 18, that's for sure. And if we're at the altitude, and we'd be suffering from hypoxia, so I think the guy's got the numbers from the pressurized version. It's a little bit embarrassing, actually. You'd think they know what they're doing, but I'm really slandering it, and sure, but I want people to know that I have enjoyed it as well. So 1700, let's do a quick check. Checklist also omits pitot heat checks on this as well, and it doesn't include a lot of things like fuel boost check, you know, various things. Okay, we got a drop on the right, and we got a drop on the left as well. Okay, good. Pitot heat check, windshield and prop heat is good. We've got positive amps in the prop. I'm going to keep the windshield heat on for departure. 2200. So the engine's warm up a teeny bit more. And we do a 200 RPM drop to about 2000, or you can push it more if you want to. Okay, good. Idle. Take the jet drop thing, the idle running. No dead drop on this. Transponder to test and then altitude. Engines are good. Yaw damper checked. Now, also, when you trim this into the green zone on the default plane, that is fine because that's the takeoff position. But when you trim it to that on this aircraft, it will start to pitch up really, really quickly. They seem to want you to put it into the 0 position, which is... Sure, I can understand that, but there's clearly a green marker there for the takeoff. I don't really... I'd like to speak to the guy who did this, because you can't make such an obvious mistake, seriously. You can't be so blind and so ignorant of these things and then sell it for $20. It's almost as bad as the It's almost as bad as 90% of the products on that store, to be honest. Anyways, Black Track Runway 01. No Central 9, we'll tune into the Unicom. I don't think there'll be any traffic in the area for now. And I will change the thumbnail to match the aircraft a little bit better. LNAKE, so Norway livery. I just realised they're going to be adding T-squares, not T-squares, signal squares to explain 12.4. So when the full release is out, they should have more signal squares at airports. I think there are a few airports I've been to, big airports, that have a signal square. This one, I'm not too sure about. I haven't checked. I don't think they do, but that would be very handy for things like circuit direction and general rules. But it's not available, and they're going to be adding more, so that would be great. Let's tune to the Unicom, 122.8. Lugano traffic, Lima November Alpha Kilo Echo, departing runway 01, VFR circuit to the right hand. Let's get going, everybody. That is not the right call out, but it will do. REP pack, show us what you're made of. Take off for a set. $80 knots, rotate. Positive rate, gear coming up. (1,000 feet), so about 2,000 feet for the circuit, and we'll keep an eye out. We're going to do a right hand turn onto the upwind leg and bring it back. (2,500 RPM). We're not going to reduce the mixture until we're on our cruise. We probably don't even need to reduce the RPM yet, because we're on a circuit. We can leave it exactly where it is. Right, about 2,000 feet. (2,300 RPM). We're going to keep the manifold where it is. 1,000 feet is good. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Look at this. Blimey, look at Lugano, everybody. Absolutely brilliant. By the way, the aircraft feels so much more heavy on the nose. It really does. Absolutely brilliant scenery in the area. As I say, we're going to go around this rock. This seems to be the only way we can do a circuit at Lugano. And we can't do full 30 degrees banks because we can't judge where the terrain is correctly. So, very cool though, very cool. Amazing scenery there. That looks absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. Any issues with the audio, guys, and let me know. I have turned the audio down quite a lot. And we're flying it hand flown, not touching anything, and it's holding itself straight and level fairly. It's really, really well done in terms of its flight dynamics. We're going to do a prepare for downwind. So we've had to go wide to, let me show you where we are. So we had to go right to avoid this sort of terrain. And there's not any other way of doing a circuit here. Go around here and then we'll come back for landing. Doing a touch and go, and then we'll go back round, do another. Great though at this sort of altitude. It's a lot steadier on the straight and level than the default one. You can definitely feel it on the controls. I did change my sensitivity as per the suggestions, and it feels like a heavy twin piston aircraft. It really does. With the honeycomb yoke, I think it's spring loaded. It's definitely loaded with something. I can feel that feedback from the controls. So if you trim it, it's obviously going to be easier on the pitch. And likewise, when I'm trying to turn it now, it just feels heavy in general. Because we're going, you know, pretty fast. We got a good amount of airflow, so it's going to be hard to turn those ailerons. But you can definitely feel the difference in the controls. So here's our right turn. We're going to do a set downwind check. So landing lights on. Props fully forward. Nice 30-degree bank to the right. I'm going to descend a little bit and descend down to 0-1. I think it handles so much better at Lugano than anywhere else. I don't know why. It's probably because of all the lift and the wind coming off of these sort of mountains. Anyway, this is the approach, guys. We're going a little bit low, but this is the way I'm going to do it. No AC to tell us otherwise at the moment. Cool, so T's and P's are in the green. Fuel flow is good, EGT is good. Mixtures and props are fully forward. Fuel bumps are off, landing lights are on. Gear coming down. Flaps to approach. Wonder if we can come round over that little gap there. It doesn't seem very possible at the moment. Anyway, full flaps. We're kind of slowing down now to good speed. And we'll keep descending towards the runway. We have, what do we have on wind? About 3 knots coming in from the right hand side. Your damper's off still. Lugano traffic, Lima November Alpha Kilo Echo final. Touch and go runway 01. There she is. And again on the pitch, you can feel the heaviness of the plane. It's so fantastic. Pushing it down, you have to fight with the airflow and the controls. I'm pretty sure that's the REP pack doing that, and it's not just the change in control sensitivity. They've actually modelled and changed some of the flight characteristics of it. When we get down, we're going to do flaps up one notch, and then we'll do gear up when we got positive rate. We'll climb back up to about 1,000 feet. 1,500 feet might be a bit better. Hey, flaps up to 1 notch and full forward. There's our positive rate, gear coming up. Flaps coming up. Your damper back on, and you can switch the landing lights off. $2,500. There's 1,000. Let's just keep going a little bit more. A couple of 100 feet won't hurt us. You can get to see the beautiful Lugano from here as well. That's just so beautiful from this view, honestly. It really is. Anyway, we're going to level off about here, so a little bit higher than before. We just had down to about 23 RPM. And the manifold can come right back. This will be our last touch and go, guys. When we do touch and go, we're going to continue on to the NDB, as you saw on the flight plan. And then after we've gone to the NDB in Aosta Airport, we'll continue on to our final destination of Sion Airport in Switzerland. Just to recap, we got Aosta on the NDB, and we'll land there and do a quick turnaround, and then we'll go to Sion Airport. Yeah, as I say, flying in straight and level is really easy with the REP packet. It certainly improves the handling. And there's no autopilot on this flight. We're going to use it. We shouldn't really have the flight directive. It's just there as a reference. Let's get rid of that, and we'll do it all ourselves. Okay, with downwinds, let's do downwind checks. We got enough fuel for the touch and go in the trip. We've got good CHT. We should really close these, but because we're doing touch and goes, I'm going to leave them open. When we do the next touch and go, I'm going to do a close on the cow flaps. Landing lights are on. The CHT is actually above 150, so we're all good. So we've set that. We'll bring the throttles back, and we're going to push the mixtures full rich, props full forward. So do some of those gumps checks. So we won't put the gear down until we get onto final. It should be said the runway in a sec, and that'll be our final one. There's no traffic in the area, there's no ATC available at the moment. So far so good though, we've been flying it within the limits, we've been obeying its sort of systems. And it is complex, so you've got the gear, you've got the the propellers there which can be feathered, and you've got an autopilot. Sometimes you get a pressurized Baron, and then these modern versions, they're obviously pressurized, but they've also got the G1000 Garmin avionics. So it really does get more complicated the more expensive the plane gets, really. We're going to do gear down in a sec. Let's do slow down a little bit. Remember, we've got headwind, everybody, so that's going to give us some lift. Gear down. Sinking way too low there. Whoa. Flaps to approach. We're just going to do flaps full. Lugano traffic, Lima November Alpha Kilo Echo, final runway 01, touch and go. We've already paid our fees today, so we can go off to the next airport, Aosta. Aosta, I'm not really sure how to say that. It's not La Costa, is it? And we didn't need the weather radar, we'll use that when we're en route. Okay, a lot lower on that second approach, that's fine. Using those two puppy lights in the foreground. We were still high in the end. Oh well. Let's bring the throttles down. Let's just do a touch and go quick. Nice and smooth, so flaps up 1 notch, full speed. Careful of that nose because it wants to pitch up too quick. A little bit bumpy on that one, not as great as the first one, so positive right gear up and flaps fully up. Yaw damper's already on, should have turned that off. Landing lights off, and we can in fact close the cow flaps as we climb to our cruising altitude now of 12,000 feet. We probably won't need to get to 12,000. The airport we need is there, or maybe we will to get through these mountains, but our airport is right there, so it's sort of inside the mountain. We haven't got it programmed on the GPS, we're all hand flown today. And we'll climb a little bit faster at 140. Can't get a good view there for you guys, so let's reduce this back to 2500 for the RPM again. It definitely makes you feel like you have to take your time more. I already did with the default version, but since getting the REP, it does force you to if you were maybe taking chances before, to not take them now. Especially with the engine management and the, you know, flying of the plane. If you fly erratically, you are going to damage things. The avionics are very susceptible in the plane on the REP. Okay, I'm going to use the autopilot now. We're going to continue climbing. 12,000 feet is what we set, but that may be changing depending on obviously altitude of terrain and things like that. Climbing well, we got a lot to go. I don't think we're going to need 12,000 if I'm honest. And we're hopefully going to pick up the NDB soon. So 318 is down here somewhere. There it is. Oh, 418, and then we do actually have a 109.25. Let's tune that to nav 1. And we'll set our current course. Yeah, very, very good climber. The cold weather, as I say, will improve performance in these small planes significantly. So as you can see, first circuit was actually pretty good. Second circuit was alright as well. I'm not too sure about 12,000 feet though. 100% not sure about it. Back to the flight plan, everybody. We have departed now Lugano Airport after a few circuits, and we're going to continue on, as I say, down here. Hopefully pick up on the NDB. We've only got 15 nautical miles to go, so I guess we'll have to ascend over the mountains and then descend, and hopefully it'll be straight in for whatever runway that is, and then we'll continue on after a quick maybe a refuel, but we should have enough fuel on board because we calculated it for the entire trip. And we'll continue on to Sion Airport, which is a really, really cool approach. It's also interesting that you see the differences. You can't see the sort of NDBs of the VOR on there, so well, you can see on X-Plane 12. So X-Plane 12 is a VOR DME, but on the Sky Vectors is none available, which kind of tells me there's none available at the airport. There is one at Sion though, as you can see there, 112.15, which we're going to tune in right now. Onto navigation 2, so 112.15. And that'll pop up down this end as well. Use that as our sort of second reference. Okay, we're getting 7,000 feet. Let's bring those mixtures back. We planned for 14 gallons per hour. Let's see if we can get it. 156 knots. Although we're going to be lower than 12,000 feet. Let's keep it about 16, 17 gallons for now. Lugano traffic Lima, November Alpha Kilo Echo, departing to the west. Absolutely gorgeous. Things just get a lot prettier in the winter time on this game. I don't know what it is. It's been made very, very well by the team at Laminar. Just look at that. Cool, so we have got turbulence warnings. Look at the sky vectors, we've got turbulence in the area, and that's going to affect us all the way through. It looks all the way through to the mountain there when we have to descend again. X-Plane 12 map is giving us about 8 knots, but that doesn't account for the turbulence. Cloud-wise, now we are kind of going into IFR conditions down here because of the clouds. So hopefully those clear up. And yeah, we probably won't get over those at 9,000 feet. So we'll keep going. 57 nautical miles. And then about 62 Sion. And we're picking up by the NDB. This is good. Let's just get the weather radar and we're going to see what's going on in the area. So yeah, there's some rough stuff coming up. This could also be terrain. It's raining clouds. Put a ground map on it, it will show us where it all is. Still very much the same. Let's do WXA. Yeah, so we've got flashing purple. It is pretty severe actually. More worse than I thought it would be. Okay, first waypoint is 50 nautical miles, and the second is 15 RYC, and then the last one is 28. About 96 total. We calculated. Did we calculate? Yeah, we did calculate 96,000 total, 96 nautical miles. That's 10,000. Let's reduce our ascent rate. I'm hoping we'll be able to push through these mountains, or we might have to just divert there to the sort of along the mountains and then come through this valley. I think that's going to be a better idea, so let's do that. Let's go to the left, and we're not going to follow the nav. We'll go left along these sort of coast of the mountains, and then there's a small gap here thanks to the X-Plane 12 map that we can sneak through. So let's level off. And we're going to reduce, we're going to leave everything where it is other than the mixture, and we're going to reduce it until we feel the engine's conking out. Around 14 is what we've estimated. This will actually extend our route because we're going to go around the mountains, and when we come through here, there's going to be, it looks really, really small, but this is probably quite a big gap. The gap here in the mountains between around this airport are very, very wide. This is giving us runway 09, so again, that's going to extend things, in which case we might have to come over the mountain here and then descend down through it. If anything, our speed is actually high, so usually I wouldn't reduce the manifold, but we're kind of getting into the danger zone with speed, so we had the checklist. The kneeboard said at 12,000 feet, 20 Richter peak, which is hard to determine on this. 23 inches of manifold, which is again not going to be possible at this altitude, and 2300 RPM. If you look down here, there's no RPM setting, but it does say, it says 19. That is a bit more accurate, but we won't go 23 inches at this altitude. But that's what's recommended. We can't achieve that this high up. And then again, that's given us 12.7 for 12,000, which we're not quite at. So 10,000, 21 inches. Again, that's incorrect. For the altitude, we don't have 21 inches at this altitude. We have about 1950. 13.5 gallons. We've got 14 at the moment, 164, so we're a little bit fast, in which case I'm going to reduce the propellers back. All of a sudden. About 2300, and that should increase the efficiency of the propellers and things, and help get us through some of that rough weather. Okay, Lugano, so it's 2 degrees. We're going to go over here, as you can see through the mountains. It's a little bit hard to determine where things are. Ah, that's a bit better. Got Lugano there, all the L's. And yeah, just it's very much the same, just cold, snowy weather. Fuel calculations, and we don't need to add it in here. We had an alternate planned of about 15 minutes. Judging, where we are in the mountains, the nearest one would probably be Geneva Airport. Sion's another option, but that's kind of our destination. If we can't get there, then Geneva or some of these little airports around it are our alternative airports. Now they start descending. I'm going to try for this crack in the mountains. Let's go down. and we'll reduce the manifold. We should see it appear any second. We should see a crack there. I think it's just where that ridge is, or it might be where this one is. Somewhere there, there's a opening, and we're going to pass through it. So we've done our sort of ATIS information noting as a check for the arrival. The arrival briefing is as explained before. Not much to explain on this one. And hopefully in the future we'll continue to do these sort of flights. I know people are really not interested in the Baron, but it'd be nice if people would be. Everyone's loving the Microsoft Flight Simulator one, but you know, the X-Plane 12 one is just as good, if not better. That's pointing there for the airport. And so is the NDB needle. What I'm going to do is, we're supposed to land the other way, but I don't actually think that's going to be possible in any plane, because we've got these high mountains. Unless you come through this sort of valley, but I can't imagine a airliner or something doing that. And this is big enough for mostly GA parking, but it has got some room here for other things, you know, bigger propeller aircraft. And there's also a refueling station. We're going to go to that and just get the plane checked over before we continue. Great little flying practice though, and gives you, you know, a chance to improve. The REP packs are good value. Very good value. Okay, I think that's the cut through. No, not yet. I'm going to level off at 5,000 feet. I really hope that this is in fact a cut through, because obviously it should be, but I can't see it at all. 5,000 feet level off, will maintain. Maintain our speed. QNH for the airport. I'm going to get it off of here. We can get it off of the charts, of course. We'll go in here, then this will give us the current weather. So 1012 is pretty much the same. What will we have at Sion Airport? This is a higher barebone. This will require a steep approach, so it's pretty much the same there. 1014 as well. We already have it from Lugano. Beautiful. I'm going to try and have a look for some more Beech Baron liveries. If you want to get this one, go on the forums and just type the tail number in, the tail code, and it should come up in the search for you. The only one available actually, like really light, and then there was the Chrome version. So here's the turn through, guys, and the NDB seems to have gone offline, but we are heading, you know, we should be heading that direction. It's going to be, I guess it's sort of off to our right now, the NDB. Anyway, through the valley, and we'll descend down in a minute to about 4,000, 3,000 feet. It is going to be tricky, so I might disconnect the autopilot and we'll just hand fly it. Oh, imagine living in this mountainside. Look at that, right in the middle, surrounded by mountains. I think at this time of the year these should all be covered in snow. Surely they should all be covered in snow by now. I think that's the one thing about X-Plane I'd like to see changed, is the scenery doesn't seem to be weather dependent, so just be in the same state year round. We saw yesterday in Alaska that it does have mountains with snow on it, but in the Alps here there's just hardly any available, and it's not realistic, especially in places like Courchevel, which would be absolutely covered in snow this time of year. Okay, we're going to descend through. I think this is the way we're going. Just going to follow this river here round, and then we'll get to Aosta. Unless it's that crack there. Again, I'm a little bit unsure. I'm unfamiliar with this route. I haven't taken it before, but it does seem to be straight ahead, and then we take a left-hand turn at the NDB. So when the NDB is over this angle, it should really be pointing there, but it seems to have gone offline. Maybe blocked potentially. Ah, it was switched off. That was why. So as it gets to sort of pointing at maybe 3-3, that's what we'll do the... let's change our heading actually. We're going for clouds, so Peter heat's on. Alright, there we go. So when it's pointing about number 4, and when we know when we need to do the left turn. We are VFR, we've got to maintain visual contact with the ground. We're not really supposed to be flying through clouds. Let's descend through and see if we can get down to about 3,000 feet. And that'll be 1,500 feet above the airport level. Ah, another thing we could have done, guys, is we kind of follow the weather radar. I didn't even think of this. It will very briefly and surely show you the terrain. So as you can see there, there's a gap. This is sort of where we are going to be going. I'm assuming that is. If you go on ground map, it's a little bit easier. But it can sometimes show you a way through. It's not really working. It seems to be just be showing clouds and turbulence. Anyway, 3,000. Let's sort of level off there. Pray we don't crash. We're really ballsing this up, I think. We could have done over the mountains a little bit better. Emergency location is not in this aircraft, so if we crash, we're not going to have any emergency services coming after us. NTSB won't be able to find us, or whatever the European equivalent is. Okay, we've got a steep turn here, so the NDB is going to be just off to our right hand side. When it goes a sort of 3 o'clock, we know we've got that left hand turn. Plus we can use the VOR navigation with the yellow line. Just below that cloud level, thank goodness. Okay, judging by the winds, we should actually be able to go straight in and land on runway 27. And then when we climb out, it's going to be a very, very steep climb out as we continue to see on. And we're going to have to go quite high up, probably to the full height of 12 and even maybe even 15,000. And what I'll do is I won't track straight there, I will track straight forward, and then we'll go for this bit here to ascend through the valley. And as we're ascending, we should hopefully come up around the right at the correct altitude. And then we'll sort of descend down again. Sion's given us runway 25 for landing, which is the same way we're facing now. So we go right as we ascend, and then we sort of come over the mountains. I think this is 14,000 feet, and then we'll descend through, and the 4,000 feet for the approach. I'm familiar with it, but again, we'll have to double check. We may even have to use the GPS. Cool, we're within range, 10 nautical miles. Let's start getting prepared for landing. So we'll maintain our current altitude. We'll just keep adjusting the heading as required. We're going to put our mixtures fully rich and our props fully forward. Landing lights are coming on. Let's bring the manifold back, and we'll try and slow it down to about maybe 140, 150. I can see the runway. Okay, runway in sight. Brilliant. We're going to go in an angle. We're going to go straight ahead, and then we'll do a right and turn, a left and turn. So it's a sort of a little bit of a tricky process. So the landing lights are on. We won't put the landing gear down, but we will drop a notch of flaps. I have no idea what the name of this airport actually is. I know it's called this, but I don't know how to pronounce it. No idea. The best I got is Aosta. your number off. A bit hard on the brakes there, blimey. Anyway, good landing. So flaps, I should have retract them on the taxiway. Flaps up, taxi lights on, landing lights off. That was good landing. Welcome to our sort of second to last stop, everybody. Really steep approach. Pitot heats. I'll leave the window heats on. Let's open the cowls. And we could just park. I was going to go to refuel, and I think refueling is... there it is over there. So we'll go over there and just get the aircraft checked out. Landing lights, check lights off. I haven't used strobes and navs this flight, and the reason is that we're A, not flying in night time, and B, there's clouds in the area, and you're not really supposed to use the clouds, the strobe lights with the clouds, so there's actually a warning here that explicitly states it. That's the reason we're not using strobes and navs today, guys. We might use navs on the departure, but again, it's not night time, so there's no need to. Transponders to stand by. We are going to continue our flight. I'm going to get a quick drink. We'll let the aircraft sort of have a rest at the refuel stop. It doesn't need fuel. We calculated before departure, and it's going to be interesting to see actually how much has been burned. Weather radar off as well. Cool. So parking brake is set. Avionics can come off. And we're still moving, so as you can see, guys, as I said earlier, the reality expansion pack brake is completely useless most of the time. The default Baron has no issues with its parking brake. In fact, the issue that the REP pack has is an issue that the default Baron had in the past, which tells me that they haven't updated this plane for quite a few years now, and the store version says 2023, 2022 on it. Fuel is cut off, that's good. We're going to leave the aircraft with the other stuff on, so props fully forward, you know, prop sync on, beacon on and things like that, and we'll turn off the battery and alternators, and I will see you guys in a minute, in a hot minute. Let's see how much fuel we burn. 37, so I guess we burned almost all of our trip fuel, I guess. We put like 12 extra in there, so we burned it all in about an hour and 24 minutes, probably less, maybe an hour. Let's look at the maintenance so we see how much we get. So oh wow, look at that, I got a $60 reward for that first touch and go at Lugano. I got a 63 feet per minute $5 reward, which is awful. Absolutely awful. I got more money for the 74 feet per minute, and this is what I'm talking about. So the harder you land, the more money you get. I don't get that at all. Flight time again for the other touch and go, 55, and then half an hour. So we've only done, yeah, about 40 minutes of flying, and we've already burned through kind of what I'd calculated for fuel. Plus we had the extra on board, and that gave me $271. So, and fuel cost us $256. So we have in fact made our money back. considerably. We've made over $400. Brilliant. I'll see you in a minute, guys. Going to take a quick break and just get a drink. See you soon. Beautiful song. I did have the countdown, but we don't really need it, to be honest. I'm back already. Let's continue with the flight. Quick drink. And we continue. I might even change that. The flight break there that I put on is more for long flights. So in the sort of bigger jets. In the smaller flights like the GA planes like the Baron, I would probably put like a 1 minute break if we do need to have one. And that should be sufficient for people. The 5 minute break is probably for the bigger jets, as I say, so I'll save it for those flights. Let's continue. So as you can see, I'll bring the route again on the map. Let's just continue with our briefing on the second sort of last bit. I had the break just to make sure there's no issues with the plane, plus to get more money from the landing. So we are going to have to go up to 12,000 feet. As I said, we do that ascending turn to the right. I'm going to follow all the way around and then come down to Sion. And we will have to circle around probably on the left-hand side and then sort of do a left-hand turn. As you see there, 13,000 feet. Right, okay, so maybe 13,000 feet might be a little bit better. It's going to be tricky anyway. Sion, all these places. This Sion in particular is a really beautiful airport, and I will be flying here in the Citation X. Believe it or not, I actually flew here in the Citation X in IMC conditions at night, and it was absolutely brilliant. The approach was from here, from sort of like 24,000, descending through 14, and you'll be flying over the mountains really, really close, and then you just descend down to 4,000 feet. That's how I did the approach. It was absolutely great. It was just a great airport. Anyway, back into the old Baron. Mixture's fully rich. Engines are already primed, and one of the things about this airplane, the reality expansion pack, is, you know, even though we've got hot engines, it will still expect us to put the fuel boost on for the start in the engine. So you would only do that on a cold start. You wouldn't do that on a hot start where the engines are already warmed up. So that is probably again a mistake, unless you would, but I can't imagine you would, guys. So don't need strobes. I'm gonna use the navigation lights. Again, the REP doesn't change the base model, so this is all Laminar researchers' work, pretty much, in terms of the modelling. So let's go left prop. So it did work straight away, brilliant. Sometimes I have had to prime the engine twice. Avionics on, nice and quick. Taxi lights. So we've got an alternator issue. What's going on there? Let's just get the avionics on off again. Okay, it's saying we got a... Somehow we got a generator failure, but... Right, I'm a bit confused here. So usually you wouldn't be able to access these menus with the engine started. So again, we've probably come across another bug. There's no issues on these engines according to the maintenance. And it's saying generators have failed. There's nothing there about the generators failing. Maybe that's just a explained issue, but it's not part of the REP pack. Also, as I say, you can't open these with the engine started, so maybe that's a bug that's going on there with the engines. Let's just shut them off, and we'll restart them again. Try the generators this time, so they won't work till the engine comes on. We'll fix them on the Explain 12 menu. Okay, now it's not starting. So as I expected, guys, it wants you to do the fuel boost every single time, which is just not realistic. Not realistic at all. There we go. Crank the throttles a little bit. Right, I think we've encountered a real problem here. So it seems like shutting the plane down and then restarting it. Not only can you now access these when you shouldn't be able to, you see, can't do with the engines off, but now the engine won't start. And for some reason the left one needs a boost pump prime. Again, just it doesn't really say realism to me. It says that it's poorly programmed and it's absolutely riddled with bugs. But you know, what would my opinion count for? I'm not just a consumer and a customer, am I? Someone who's using the product. Anyway, let's see the alternators. So they work fine this time. So again, that's a bug, another bug in the REP pack. I'm just going to go ahead and say it again, guys. Don't buy anything off the Explain store. They blatantly, you know, break the law by not giving people refunds. They sell shoddy products. They say they're not affiliated with Laminar Research when they clearly are affiliated with Explain 12. And they just sell absolute garbage, to be honest. I've been really harsh, but that is kind of how I feel. I think my video review was very fair. My live stream review is a bit harsher because I want you guys to see the reality, and that is that it's full of bugs, like most of the add-ons. The only add-on truly worth getting so far is still the King Air 350, and the Airfall Labs need to put that on their own site. Anyway, taxi lights on, beacons, navs, everything is good. Avionics coming on. We're going to track that second VOR now using this thing down here. And that's going to point us towards Lugano Airport, so literally straight ahead, or straight behind us. And we'll head on a course of, let's turn that to the course, about 170. Let's change it to nav 2. Ah, there we go, so it's sort of already done the course for us. Brilliant. So we're in a course of 350. That's 12,000 feet, maybe even 13,000. Let's get going again. And the fuel burn was off. We put enough in for the trip, plus we had extra on board, but somehow we've already burned through it, according to the REP pack. And we weren't at the full altitude that we were going to take in the first place. Let's go to the end here. We'll go down to runway 27, I think it is, and say 09, but the wind direction would say otherwise, so we want to take off into the wind because we need to ascend quickly. So it's called, if you're interested, Aosta Aerodrome, and it's sort of wedged between the Alps, near Sion, near Geneva. QNH 1012, and then we'll get there. I think it's a bit different. 1014. Transponder mode, Charlie. Holy, we've actually got a brand over there, Benny's Market. Tyler and Young, Alex Crafters, brilliant. All probably names that we've explained to us Laminar research, possibly. Yeah, so wind direction is in our favour if we take off runway 27. Really cool taxiways as well. Not the typical ones you'd see. Is that a T-square, a signal square down there? Sort of. We got helipads and things. Let's just hold short. Yeah, no signal square at this one, but they are going to add more, so hopefully when we come back in the future there'll be one available. No strobes because of the foggy condition. IOSTA traffic, Lima November Alpha Kilo Echo, backtracking runway 27, departure to the north. Okay, landing lights on. Keep the taxi lights on for now. We're going to squawk. Testing an altitude. Flaps to approach for this one. We're going to be climbing very, very steeply, everybody. I'm going to climb very fast. So I'm going to be doing, according to the need board, it says, where are they here? References. So max rate, best angle, best rate is 105, and then best angle. So we'll climb at 92, and then as we sort of retract the flaps, we'll increase the best rate of 105. The blue line is kind of where we'll be climbing at for this to 12,000 feet. So let's head in and we'll do vertical speed in the air. Let's get going. Takes the lights off. No need to do an engine run up. AT retracts over lift off. Positive rate, gear up. Your dumper on. You see we're pitching very, very high now to get that 92 there and the best angle. Running lights off. Okay, there's the sort of safe area. Let's retract the flaps and increase to 105. And do vertical speed and autopilot. We'll let the plane fly it so it can help me out a little bit. I'm going to maintain everything where it is for now until we go a little bit higher. as we do that right hand ascending turn. Again, we can't really maintain 105, it is very, very difficult. Let's try and increase the rate of ascent. Okay, cool, so 25 RPM, 2500. Cool, this is interesting, it's very exciting to see how it's handling. Look at these severe conditions. Pouring with rain, icing build up and everything. Let's get our pitos on. And we're climbing at best angle here, best rate of climb 105. This is great. It's Explain 12 it is, and it's only going to get better as time goes on. Okay, so there's that right hand ascending turn I was talking about, and we should have extended it through here, I think. We've kind of caught the corner a little bit, but we can keep climbing, and then as you can see here, it's a little bit high, but it's still within range of, you know, still within safe range of it. And then of course we'll come back down. We may actually be able to go parallel or over the airport at low altitude and then do a U-turn in the valley, but again, that's very, very risky. And we have, as you can see there, we've got the headwind, which is going to boost our lift. We're really climbing slow though, below the amount we need. Let's reduce the manifold, not the manifold, the mixtures. And we should really close the cow flaps. You can see there, the mixture's about 16.5 in each. Yeah, fuel-wise, I'm not convinced that was right. It says we got 192 on board. Again, I don't know how that's correct, because we put in, what was it, 27.5, and we already had, like, 36 on board. So it's either not computed it correctly, or Explain 12's fuel thing is incorrect. So it's saying 191. That's definitely not how much we took on board with us. Or maybe it is, because it was in gallons, wasn't it? I'm just going to convert that, guys. So bookmarks, fuel weight calculator, so 27.5 gallons. Saying it's about 104 litres and about 74 kilograms. So still very, very, still seems very off on the numbers. Cool, we need the weather radar and the map thing. Just going to keep that high pitch now. We are speeding up a little bit, but we do need to keep cautious of the terrain as well. So we've got to keep climbing pretty rapidly. This is the ground map feature. We are supposed to be VFR, but we're going into IMC conditions IFR now, so that's fine. Continue on like this. We are kind of doing well. If we look at the Explain 12 map, we've got these high peaks here to be concerned about. If we go a little bit to the right, as you can see, the darker it gets, the higher they are. So if we kind of go through here, we should be okay. But again, we're completely blind at the moment, so I have to go up to 13,000, and we're going to make that right turn. Actually, let's do that. And that might be a little bit safer. And over this side, I'm pretty sure 14,000 is like the height you're supposed to be at to clear these mountains, so we'll have to keep climbing. We had 12,000 from our cruise initially, but it's going to be a lot higher than that. As you can see, the peaks there are pretty much level with us at the moment. All anti-ice is on. We're in some pretty shitty conditions. Let's get the... Why is that not coming on? Prop heat and surface heat. Melt on the ice up off the wings. There's 12. And we're probably going to keep going to 14,000 as I say. That's the safe altitude. We'll keep following the DME. Yeah, so as you can see there, guys, the terrain is a little bit less. Still very high up, but it's still a little bit less here through the valley where the airport is. That may be the best option. Yeah, so the flashing purple will be terrain and things, and maybe even turbulence. All safe as long as you fly it within limits. We are going slow, but if you're within the limits and the speed limits and things, you should be fine. Take into account the headwind, which is, you know, we're going to increase. It's now turning into a crosswind. We're still getting about 140 knots. And if we turn this to number 2, it should give us our correct airspeed. So, yeah, about 133 knots. And again, we can increase our rate of ascent. Well, we're coming up to 14,000, so we're going to slow it down. And then hopefully be able to clear these peaks and things. Absolutely awful. The Baron's handling it very well. I forgot to put G loaded camera on. Oxygen mask is on for some reason as well. Let's hope we can handle this. I think they're also going to update this with X-Wing 12.4 full release. I read that this will now include like a menu option, which is going to be functional, and it should be able to show various new informations on it. Right, there is hypoxia even at 14,000 feet, so we'll level off. You see, guys, it's getting dark. I'm assuming that's hypoxia, so let's get the oxygen mask on. The G-loaded camera was off, so apologies about that. We'll continue at the altitude we're at. Let's set standard pressure so we don't crash, and QNH was 1014, wasn't it? In fact, it makes a lot of difference now having that G-loaded camera on. Blimey. But it does show that the REP doesn't really do much. It doesn't add any shaking or head movement. So again, it's just Laminar research. It seems like their work has been modified and sold, but you know, that's just my opinion, isn't it? Okay, 14. Can we get 14 gallons? No, we can't. You see, we're slowing down there because we've not got enough fuel flow through the engines. So we're going to go back up to 16. Again, the kneeboard numbers are completely wrong. We'll keep the RPM where it is, and just pray we don't crash. Really bad visibility, so VFR to IFR. The plan was to descend down here, so 40,000 feet will come down at 4,000. Let's tune the approach in to, there it is on the left, LSGS. And you'll see the approach that I was talking about. So there it is. The IGS-25 is, I won't do a transition and we'll just go straight to it. Not got the thing following it, but this will give you an idea. And as you can see on the heights, so there's no heights in there, but you would be about 14,000 feet now, and then you'd come down pretty high up and then descend to 4,000. So yeah, very high up. Let's get GPS guidance on. That should take us all the way to the end point. navigation guidance, and we'll let the aircraft do its own thing. Maybe not. Alright, once it's just let V-lock. Okay, I see. So we got to prepare for final. In that case, we'll keep following around. I'm going to set the course to 25 for the runway. Oxygen mask is coming off. I don't really know why we're getting hypoxic here. I know we're high up, but we shouldn't be feeling it you know, that kind of altitude. This is it's bad. It's going to cause it, but it's not going to cause it this quick. Got some terrain coming up. We've really got to keep our eyes out, but we should be above it at 14,000 feet. As you can see there, we're flying right over it. That's pretty normal. Can't descend at the moment. Okay, we're going to need the localizer for the runway 25. So 25 IGS is 110.70. We're actually already tuned into that on the VLOG 1. I'm going to set the course to 243. Of course, there's another aircraft in the area. We're going to land in an airport with no airspace, no control of the airspace at the moment. We're doing well though. We'll try and descend. We won't be able to descend through the valley, and I cannot imagine what it's like landing at Raron. That must be super hard. You are liking this, guys? Let me know if you want to see more prop aircraft. I'm going to do more this year. If you're not interested, then let me know what you're interested in. I'll try and do some more streams on it. This stream has been dead, by the way. Nobody's interested in it at all. So, turns out the review video did a lot better than I thought, and then this has tanked. Let's start descending. We'll descend down nice and slowly, and then we'll get some lower down and visibility is getting better. I got nav lights on but no strobes. We'll try and keep it like that, and then keep it sort of steady descent as we come in for runway 25. So let's descend. We keep the power settings where they are and the mixtures where they are as well. Can't lock onto this just at the moment because we're not close enough, although I might go straight to... then again, if we go just straight to this one, this will be enough height then to descend over a good amount of time. So if we descend now from here straight to runway 25, we're not going to have enough room to get into it. Again, plenty of references there for waypoints and things. We don't need the NDB anymore. You see there, 50 nautical miles back to the airport, and then we have about 50 nautical miles to the localizer. I'm going to keep that in mind for the landing. Let's go and put that 25 there. 253 for the course for the runway, and the RLS will appear on this thing in front of us. Let's reduce the prop back to 2300. So interesting to see performance change in this. It has handled the rough weather and it's not been showing any issues like icing. Oil pressure is a little bit on the low side, so let's just kick the mixtures a little bit higher. Yeah, oil pressure is a little bit concerning. And I think when we landed at... oh wow, look at that. Kind of breaking through it a little bit here. But yeah, when we landed at the other airport, it seemed to like put... From an X-plane point of view, it seemed to put like full tanks again. Because this doesn't correspond to what we've got in the reality expansion pack refueling thing. Incredible views as we come through the clouds into Sion Airport. And we're going to reduce the props back actually. Let's just go way back to about 2100. Let's go straight to the localizer, which is quite far on this and it is quite high up. Navigation activated, it should follow it. We get on track course. Still looking pretty rough. We got these warnings coming up. We can stop it flashing by clicking that, but this is mostly like turbulence and things. We're right in it again. We've got to be super cautious. As long as we're out of that main sort of stretch there, we're all good. You'll find that we see on that, you know, it's not as hard as people might think. It's a lot harder than Innsbruck, but the key is just to use your instruments, especially because it's mostly IMC up here most of the time, and it's the airport is 1500 feet still. Nice headwind, 24 knots. Holy moly, look at that. All that ice buildup out there, Jesus. What's that ice light saying? We can't even see the wings, guys. We're gonna freeze over. Blimey. Entire wing completely iced over. Okay, so down we keep descending. It seems to have locked on now to the localizer. We'll keep descending down. We should be probably about 4,000 feet by the time we get close to the airport. Still got to be cautious of the high terrain around us. And you'll notice on this one we come in at a sort of angle from the right hand side, and then it's just a simple left hand turn to get corrected, since the localizer doesn't actually line up with the runway on this approach. Let's do mixtures fully rich, and we're going to reduce the manifold back. Again, impossible to see it. This is entirely clouds at this point. Snow clouds, as we saw on the weather reports. It's ice, it's snow. It is kind of dangerous, but we are suitable for IFR and ice conditions. Just about to see the land down there, Sion. I'm hoping this will get us, how far have we got? We've got about 13 nautical miles to go, so we're still pretty far off at the moment. As long as you don't go below 4,000 feet, we'll be good. What a journey in Lima November Alpha Kilo Echo. What a journey. Started with some circuits to Lugano, continued on to Aosta, and then on to Sion, and I will fly back here in the Citation X. I did have a stream planned and I was hoping to do it tomorrow, but I'm going to push it back. And we do jet flights next week, guys, so it'll be Sion next week in the Citation X. And we'll do a few other stops on the way, and we're doing hopefully a group flight on Monday if anybody's interested in that. I say a group flight, it's just going to be a stream where people can fly with me if they want to. Of course, let's just descend more, let's get our props fully forward. And we'll reduce that power way back as we descend through. We probably need to go lower than 4,000 to get good visibility. We cannot see things, so landing lights on. We'll keep the anti-ice on for now. Cowl flaps can stay closed. I'm actually going to keep the yaw damper on until we get probably right into final. As it eyes in, close final, short final. And then I'll disengage it. Okay, we got lights. Is this lights to the airport though or not? Could actually be. We need to take control here because the approach will not work correctly at this airport, so we have to go slightly off course. There's land below. I think that is probably where the airport is. We cannot see a thing. This is awful conditions, isn't it? Maybe we should have stayed at Lugano for the entire flight. Six nautical miles. Are we going to be lined up in time or not? Let's get our gear down. Flaps to approach. Now we should be facing the runway. Should be facing it. Should get visual anytime soon of some lights. Surrounded by mountains on either side in snowy conditions. Okay, I can see a wind suck. This is good. I'm going to take control in a sec. Let's do altitude hold, and we'll continue a little bit too low at 2000. We probably want to be higher, so I'll take control now and just do it myself. Good, we'll maintain the high manifold pressure for this one. Unless we've missed the airport. That's a heliport. There's the airport straight ahead, guys, so we are a little bit low down. Let's just keep going there. Full flaps. God blimey. Look at this. They got like 20 knot headwind as well. Okay, your damper off. See on traffic, Laminar Alpha Kilo Echo, final runway 25. Okay, touchdown. Let's hopefully slow down safely. So slight braking, not full braking. A little bit of a buffer there. Wow, that was scary, guys. That was really scary. Welcome in, Will. Great to see you here, buddy. How you doing? Yeah, so really cool landing there. I can't believe we just made that. That was insane. Icy, snowy conditions. Hardly see a thing. Oh wow, I'm well chuffed at that. In the Beechcraft Baron in Sion as well. Who would have thought? Who would have thought, guys? Thank you. Yeah, it was pretty damn good, wasn't it? I literally just... I'm surprised at that entire approach. In the harshest of conditions, and then zero visibility. We did come down low, granted, but then the landing was decent. So anyway, all the anti-ice can come off. All the store warning heats, we're just going to park straight ahead. It's Sion, so it's mostly private charters. Radar's coming off, transponders coming off. Let's get the avionics off. And we'll go over here to Alpha at the hangar. Taxi lights. Oh yeah, definitely. The winds up here are strong. I'm really surprised the Baron's coped with it. It's been an absolute journey, this flight. I was saying earlier we should have stayed at Lugano because there was better visibility, but oh well. Everything else can come off. I'm going to turn the prop sync off. I'm going to do like... There's no need to, you know, you can leave it on, but I'm going to turn it off and we'll do a full sort of... Shut down. The cow should come back open. The fuel is cut off. Battery and alternators. Well, there it is, guys. That is about 2 hours. We will watch the replay. It started off as a lovely VFR flight. It's these kind of adventures I really love, through the mountains, through the Alps. And it just demonstrates the aircraft so well. Its capabilities, and the REP makes it really, really realistic in terms of its handling. You can feel the heaviness of the controls. I'm surprised we survived that, actually. We had... The weather forecast was right. It was only cold fronts and snow and rain and ice. And there was a bit of turbulence in there, but it was a lot worse in terms of cloud coverage than I thought it would be. Yeah, so this is how we came down, 14,000, and then descended down 4,000 to the IGS, or whatever it is on here. The IGS, yep. Runway 25. Alright guys, well, I sign off. Thanks for being here, Will. This is Sion Airport, and I will be flying here next week in the Citation X. So if it's the same conditions, we're going to have a really cool winter wonderland. The Citation X by far is a lot more capable than the Baron. As I say, we're sort of outside of the limitations. If we check on the knee board here, the maximum crosswind is... I thought it was on there somewhere, but I may be thinking of a different plane. I think we'll be on the maximum crosswind anyway. Stick around for the replay or not. I'll see you tomorrow for another stream. This one kind of didn't hit really well with people. I don't think anybody's been too interested. The approach to the end was good, but again, people are not too interested in the Baron, so it's just a shame, innit? Thanks guys, take care, stick around for the replay, and I'll see you tomorrow.